Hello everyone. I am very excited to bring to you a tutorial on how to separate your audio in OBS. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, this is if you want to separate your Discord audio and your game audio so that when you're editing it after you've recorded it, you can lower volumes as you need, or you can mute stuff that you don't want. So OBS does this on Windows out of the box, but unfortunately on the Linux version, there doesn't seem to be an easy way to really do it right until now. So I'm making this video to hopefully help you guys out as well, because this is very useful for me, and I know it's going to be useful for you guys too. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to need is you're just going to have to get one thing from the package manager store, whatever you want to call it. And it's this program right here. And this is called qpwgraph. It looks more daunting than it is. And I think it looks way more complicated because my setup has a ton of audio options. Yours will probably have less, unless your setup is kind of like mine, where I'm using an XLR microphone, in which case you probably won't even have to worry about it. So you're gonna grab it here from the store or whatever you want to call it, and it's this qpwgraph. And if you don't know how to install it, you just want to do this so you can install it. Really, you should really know the command line here for Linux, or at the very least how to install stuff. But you know, maybe this is your first time, so here's your practice for how to install that. So once you install that and it finishes up, all you want to do is open it. You might be confused on how. Thankfully for Linux Mint, it makes it kind of easy. You can just search for it, and once you open it, boom, we're right here. So it's kind of tough on where to start here, but basically let's start off with the script here. Now, this looks complicated. I promise you it is not. This is just one command. Each line is basically just one command, and all we're doing is just making fake speakers, so to speak, right? So when you plug in your headphones and you have your monitor speakers, or you have speakers and you need to switch between stuff, we're basically making fake speakers so that OBS knows that these fake speakers are what's going to be picking up audio, and that's basically how it's going to work, right? So we're making a fake speaker, so to speak, for Discord, and another one for the game audio, and I'll explain this second one momentarily. But basically that's all we're doing. We're just making two different speakers, sorry. And let me explain this one the first way, right? So for future reference, or I should say in a little bit when I explain it more, we're going to put all these commands in the script, but for now we'll just run these one by one, right? So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make a Discord audio virtual speaker, right? And basically the only things that you might have to change in this script are these two variables here. So there's sync name, and then there's sync properties. And the sync name can be whatever you want. The description can be whatever you want, but you notice that they're in quotation marks. I would just keep this format the same, I wouldn't add spaces or anything between them. Just keep them together, or add an underscore or something. If you want to keep it the same as how I have it, you totally can, and that's totally fine. And all you're going to do is you're just literally going to copy and paste this to the terminal, hit enter to run it, and it'll create it. And you'll probably see it pop up here somewhere like this. And you're going to want to do the same thing for the game audio. Now, here is the gotcha part. So I don't know how this is going to work for Discord, regular Discord Linux. What do I mean by that? Well, regular Discord Linux doesn't really work on Linux that well. So what I've been using is a alternative called Vestop, Vencord. It goes by either name, it seems like, but the way it works is a little bit different. I believe than regular Discord. And the problem is the way it works in the background is it opens like a Chromium process in the background. And the problem with this is that normally normally a program will just be itself. It'll just be its own program, and that's that. But the problem with how Vencord and Vesttop works is that it'll open up. It's like basically opening up an incognito browser every time, and when you try to assign it to play through the Discord audio speakers, it's always a different Chromium tab. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but you basically can't just point it. You just can't just tell it to go to Discord audio, right? So that's where this second line comes in, which is a monitor, which all it does is just repeats the audio from your Discord audio to whatever device that you're listening from. So because the way that this is going to work for at least Discord and Vencord is that you're going to change Vencord's output device to this Discord audio once it's created. And the problem with that is that now it's going to go through that Discord audio fake speaker, and it's no longer going to be coming out of your regular speakers where you actually want to be hearing the audio. So what this is going to do is you're just going to create a monitor, quote unquote, right? So you're basically plugging in headphones to that fake speaker so you can also listen to it while it's outputting to OBS, right? The only thing that you need to change here, and this is not optional, this is mandatory, is this sync variable here. So from this whole section here that I just highlighted, you need to change that because yours is probably going to be different. And the way that you find this section here is you're going to run this command here, and you just run this and just expand that a little bit out. You know, the audio sync that you want is the one that probably says running on it. So this is the one here for me in my case, and you copy the whole thing here, right? This whole thing, and you paste it after the equals sign and sync, and you can see that's exactly what I've done here. And that's how you create the monitor. Now again, I really want to stress, I don't know if you need to do this for regular Discord. You might just do this how I set up the game audio section. So if you'd like to skip ahead, you can go ahead and do that. But I would imagine if you're on Linux, you've kind of discovered how bad Discord is on here, so you're probably going to use this method with Vencord and Vesttop. So I would strongly recommend you just go the route that I just went. So that's literally all you're going to do. And again, all you do for this section is you're just going to tell it to go output your device to Discord audio, and that's it. You're pretty much done. Okay, so next what we're going to want to do is we're actually going to want to create the audio sources here in game audio and Discord audio. And the way that you do that is that you hit the plus sign here and then you're going to look for audio output capture pulse audio. Now there may be some settings that you might have to change for this to show up. If that does happen, let me know and I can just re-upload the video with the changes here. But I think when you do this, it should just show up like this. Name it whatever you want. I'm just going to name this test. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to select this. And now you can see that since we created those devices in the terminal, now they start showing up here, right? There's Discord audio and then there's game audio. And you just make one of each for each one and make sure you select the respective one here, right? So I'm going to hit cancel here. You would select the one that you want. And I'm going to remove this. As you can see, I have my game audio here and my Discord audio. And you can see right here, I have selected each one where it's supposed to go. And now they show up right here. Now, just because it's selected here doesn't mean that it's going to actually get the audio that you want. you're gonna have to change the audio source, at least for Discord, through Discord itself. So again, here's the screenshot on where you need to change it to, and then we can set up the monitoring portion later for that Discord device. And the game audio we're actually going to do through qpwgraph, so you only, you don't have to do anything else from here. Once these two are created, we're good from OBS. So I'm gonna move that away, and I'm gonna bring up qpwgraph. So again, don't get worried because this gets all complicated. It does not get complicated. It's literally just because I have a lot of stuff that kind of sits around here. So as you can see, we have both our Discord and the game audio, and you can see when you have OBS open, they point to the OBS device, so that way OBS can actually pick up that audio. So the Discord audio here, you can see that not only is it going to OBS, it is also going to this loopback thing. But we don't have to do anything with Discord audio here because this is already set up via the terminal commands that we did, and this is going to stay like this once we do the script to run that startup. So we don't ever have to touch this Discord audio pretty much. The game audio, however, is a whole different thing. That's where we're going to have to come in here and make sure that our game audio devices are plugged up here. And just to reiterate that if you have done this through Windows OBS version, this is the same thing, only the OBS kind of does it for you. Every single game that you have on a separate channel, you have to add that game's executable manually. So it's kind of similar here. So you only have to do it once, but once you do it, it's done. And you just have to do it for each new game that you haven't set it up for, right? So for example, I'm going to show you how to do it with Deep Rock. It's already set up for me, but let's say you have Deep Rock and then you quit out and you go back in. You don't have to do this. This is all done. But if I were to launch like Helldivers, for example, and I have not done this, then I would need to come in here and do this to make sure it gets set up correctly. And then the most important thing too is you want to go up to patch bay up here on the top left, and you want to make sure that this is activated, and make sure that you save this. Whatever changes you make, just hit save. Save. If you don't save, it is not going to reflect these changes, okay? All right, so I'm going to do a quick cut here while Deep Rock Galactic is opened, and then we'll get started. So I do want to point out that you want to have qpwgraph opened in the background, obviously, because we're going to need to switch to it and have it active while the game is active. You want to do this when the game is active, or it will not show up, and you might not get all the audio sources in time, because sometimes some games like to open an audio source when you're in the game, as opposed to like if I'm just sitting around in the main menu, right? Luckily for us, we have only 2 for Deep Rock Galactic. So you'll see sometimes that there is kind of multiple entries for your game. I've seen up to 4. So if you see that many, you probably need to do this for, like 4 times, which is fine because each audio source is something different, right? So for example, this might be the internal voice chat. This might just be the game audio itself. So if you want to capture all that, you want to make sure you just get all those channels and make sure they go to the appropriate spot where I'm going to show you right now. And you know that these are the ones that you want, because notice how these point over to my audio speakers here. This is my default audio speakers, so they will point here, so I know these guys are my audio for this game. You see this other one here that says Deep Rock, but it's pointing to something completely different. This is because this is my microphone, so don't even worry about this guy right here. We want to worry about these 2 right here. And for your game, it might even be 4 things here, and you can move these however you want. It doesn't matter where you put them. It's literally just for a visualization for you to make it easier for yourself. So normally you're probably going to see that this is totally empty, right? You'll see that you have the playback speakers here, but you won't see this connected to our game audio here, which is what we want. And you don't want to put this straight into OBS. You want to put this into this game audio source, because this is the reason it exists. And if you do it through here, I don't think it's going to stick. So make sure you put it to here to game audio, and then it gets fed over to OBS here. So what you're gonna want to do is, you see it says output underscore FL underscore output underscore FR, and it says the same thing here in game audio, only it's playback underscore FR, playback underscore FR. So you want to match the FR to the FR, and the the FL to the FL, and the FR to the FR, and that's it. Boom, there you go. And you do it for the rest of the audio sources. Just connect them up, FL to FL, FR to FR, and that's it. Make sure you hit save, and boom, there we go. So now if I show you OBS, you can see my microphone's picked up here, and the game audio is picked up right here. I don't have anything on Discord right now, so that's not going to be showing me anything. But yeah, that's the game audio right there. And that's it. That's all you have to do here. Make sure you hit save. You just want to minimize it. I think I have mine set to just minimize into my desktop. You'll see right here. So here, I have mine set to just minimize. So you can go in here into the settings and change that. But yeah, you want to make sure it's open, otherwise this whole thing is not going to work. But yeah, that's this part. All right, so now we're back here, and I have some unfortunate news to tell you, and that is that this does not persist when you reboot your computer. So you have to do this every time. Now, here's the saving grace, is that you can actually script this so that you never have to do this ever again. So this is where the script part kind of comes in from here. And I promise you, I hope I didn't lose you from that, because this is going to be really simple. And again, once you've set this up, you don't ever have to touch it again. You literally just have to, add your games to that qpwgraph interface, whenever you play a game that you haven't added there before. But again, as long as we script this stuff, then we're good. And I know there is some other ways that you can do this, but I think the script is the most straightforward, and it's going to be the easiest for people new to Linux. So I'm going to go ahead and just show off this way. If you'd like to comment the other ways that you can do it, feel free to do it. But I'm just going to go through this method here. So now all you're going to do is open up your text editor, right? And again, you can literally just search for text and hit on text editor. And it's going to open a new page like this. All you're going to do is make sure that this is at the top, the bin bash. And then literally just copy your commands that you've used in your terminal. And that's it. Now you just want to save it somewhere. But when you're saving it, make sure that you save it as, make sure it has .sh at the end, right? So if I'm naming my script, Discord script, make sure you add .sh at the end, so it's actually executable. And then wherever you save it, you want to make sure that it's actually executable, right? So I'm going to go here, right click properties, permissions, allow executing. Make sure that is checked on. And that is it for the script. That's all you have to do there. So now let's get to making sure that these items run on startup. So all you're going to do is just search for startup applications. You see there's quite a few here. I have mine already added here, but I'll show you how to do it. You're going to click on this, and you're going to add a command for the script, and you're going to add an application for qpwgraph. So that's two that you're adding. So let's add qpwgraph first, because that's going to be very simple. qpwgraph, you just search for that, click on add application, and it's going to be here. Make sure you enable it. Click on edits, highlight it, and click on the pencil to edit. And here, all you're going to want to do is pass the %f space -m. The -m is going to tell qpwgraph to open up minimized when it's opening up on when you log in for the day, right? And then click on save. I'm going to hit close here because I've already done this. And then next, you're going to want to add the script. So you're going to add custom command, name it whatever you want. and then you're going to browse to wherever you have that script. As you can see, I have mine added here, and that's it. So you never have to do that ever again. So you never have to run these commands. You never have to find out what monitor sync that you're going to do. This is all going to be taken care of as soon as you log into your computer. And that it's as simple as that, guys. I'm so glad I took the time to really look into this and figure this out, because I could not find a clear answer that wasn't super overly complicated. So I hope that this helps you guys out. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And I do want to say too, as an additional note, that OBS needs to run after all this stuff. Now, the thing is, if you're running these on startup, then you don't really have to worry about that. But it is going to be an issue if you also have OBS running as a startup application. So I would strongly recommend you don't even have it as a startup application at all, because, you know, I find it's kind of pointless. You can just open it whenever you need it. But if you really wanted to open up on startup, then I would strongly suggest you put like a 40-second delay on the OBS startup option. It is there in the startup applications and as an option, but that I thought I should mention that. But I think that kind of covers it. I'm looking through my notes here, but that should pretty much be it. So if you need assistance with this, you can comment, and I can see if I can help if you're running into some sort of issue. But this is pretty straightforward, so I think most of you guys should get it.